most of you people are here. Without much of delay, I'll jump into the session. What is interesting is in my previous podcast, I had expressed this phenomenon which is going to be there for the next 7 to 10 years, where the summer vacations will become summer lockdowns. That is going to be the situation subsequently. There will be a new strain every year. We need to get vaccinated, and there's no respite till such time that at least 60 to 70% of the population will get affected by this and subsequently develop immunity, where we can then claim a herd immunity to come into picture. So with that situation looming around, we have a situation at our hand that we can be operational only for about 10 months in a year. We have seen last year also quite a lot of businesses struggled to come back to their original footing, which they had lost due to the lockdown. In spite of the situational issues, this year also we could not prevent an imminent lockdown, and we have come across a situation where now these lockdowns are going to be there. So which means to say that how are we really going to address this situation? This is not going to spare anyone. So in a situation like this, how are we supposed to address the situation? Now, before I get into this, let me just put across a poll to you and see how many of you on your screen. You can see that there is a poll which I'm running. Could you just take a minute to complete that? So I just want to know how many of you run a business and how many of you work for an organization and where your role is in management. Okay, thank you for your answers. Now, this is really important from the point of view of understanding these 3 smart moves that I'm going to give you. Because if you're running a business, it tells you a different point of view. And if you're in a top management of an organization, it gives you a different window altogether. So that's the reason why I wanted to know this. This is a brief introduction. Of course, you know me all, but apart from that, I'm a transformational coach and an implementation specialist. And from the last year, I have been here to help at least 100,000 organizations to achieve phenomenal business growth with strategies that really work. And I'm the founder of Titans Club and the 64 Business Sutras. And welcome to today's webinar. With this short intro, I'll get into the first slide. Now, let us first understand in this, where are we today? Now, it's very important to know this because you have gone 1 year through a phase of COVID and there was the first lockdown. Coming out of that situation itself was so difficult to many organizations, sustaining and growing, and subsequently fulfilling the needs of the organization. And now we are again caught in a lockdown. Fortunately, we still have some more time before the lockdown eases up and we are back to business. So let us use this time to proactively understand and create a meaningful lockdown for ourselves. So to understand where are we today, you also need to understand most organizations fail to make this assessment, that where are they today. Now this evaluation is very necessary from the point of view of how others are faring in your industry. If you are coming from a production industry, then you need to compare with that. If you are coming from a services industry, you need to compare from that. And subsequently, does this particular business plan which you have made for this year, starting this financial year in the month of April, with the lockdown, will it still look good? How do you say that? Now, you can only say that provided you have already addressed the customer's concerns. Now, if you haven't addressed customer concerns, then this is the time to understand and address that. Moving further, you also need to understand there are a lot of things in the pipeline because of the lockdown which didn't materialize. These could be qualified leads, these could be prospects. What is happening, what is running in their mind? And what kind of a customer rating do you have? Have you collected it over a period of time? Have you made effort to collect the feedback from customers? How do they feel? What do they feel? And things like that. Now, all of this becomes very important from the point of view of understanding where are we. If you think that this is going to be addressed from the money point of view, yes, money is something, but it's not everything. Which brings to the important point that how is your company's current financial health? Now, every company will have a credit line. You call it as OD. And how much of this has been utilized? Any organization which doesn't spend more than 60% of its credit line is called healthy. That means they are able to generate that much of business, utilize that money, and then subsequently churn it to produce more and more business. Well, on the other hand, how much collection is pending? This is equally important because collections are difficult to come by in the COVID situation. Now, this is one part of the money aspect. The second part is how are your employees feeling? What is their mental state, mental health? And if there is a resistance from them to move on further, how do you make them deliver? How do you make them accept the situation and then subsequently deliver? So this is a financial angle which you need to think about. Now, when we speak of businesses, all businesses revolve around these 5 elements. I call them the Panchabhutas of business. The first is planning, the second is human resource, the third is finance, the fourth is operations, and fifth, not the least, but the most important, all of this is for your customers. Be it a product industry, be it a service industry, it doesn't matter because it's ultimately you do it for the customers. So these are the 5 elements. No matter what business that you are in, these are the 5 elements which are there. So to understand, so as to say what's the growth model, we need to understand where we are. That's why the first 2 slides gave you an indication of you trying to understand where do you fit into the current scenario. And the next question in the model is, why are we here? For what reasons? You could have been in industry in the last 15 years, you were operational. You are an industry, you are working, you have been in existence for the last 25 years. You are a startup, then just the startup has happened and then you are just 1 year old or 6 months old. Or anywhere, any timeline that you have been in existence. What is the reason why you are here? Where do you wish to be? Now, this is very important because if you want yourself to be somewhere, I want to be a 100 crore company. By just defining you want to be a 100 crore company, essentially doesn't mean anything because it needs to work with a timeline. I want to be a 100 crore company in the next 10 years. That gives a purpose and a direction both. So, just the financial angle is insufficient. You need to have the time angle also. So, the moment you define something like this, the next immediate question will be how do we get there? How do we get there? So, this is a combination of factors which will tell you that what are you made of, how were you made of, and where are you heading towards. All of this are very, very important. The moment you understand this, I go back to my Panchabhutas and say planning becomes primary. In order to proceed, planning becomes primary. There is no one who will plan to say that I will fail, but it is mostly everyone will fail to plan. So it very clearly shows no planning is equal to failing. Why? If you have plan, you have multiple plans. You have a plan A, you have a plan B, and subsequently a derivative of that. So you know if A is not working or is not going in the right direction, you can move over to plan B. But if there is no plan at all, then you are simply driven across anywhere as the wind moves. So you are never sure of your destination at all. You see? So planning is of primary importance. So which brings us to the first move, that is the first smart move, which says you need to replan your year ahead. Please understand. Earlier, I had posted a questionnaire wherein several people have asked that is my business plan, does it still hold good? Because I have done it in the month of February, March. Is it still valid? No. Straight away my answer is no, because you need to revisit your business plan. Please compare how you have fared in the last lockdown. Understand what kind of situations you faced in the first quarter or the second quarter post lockdown last year. Then, if it is depressing, don't feel bad about it because all the time you can't be in the uprising. I'll tell you why. Okay. So, which means tell yourself it's absolutely fine to have lull moments in business, but you will definitely make it up in the subsequent quarters. So, what you need to do really here is you revisit your business plan, take a good look at it, and say that, okay, what kind of changes I need to make for Q2 and Q3. Of course, Q1 has passed. By the time lockdown opens up, Q1 has passed already, and then you would have lost significant time. So instead of worrying about I lost so much of time, the first thing that you need to sit and do today, now, after this session is over, is that you please check out how good is your business plan the moment lockdowns open up. Next. Just given you a comparative figure here. For example, if this is my previous year, let us say, for example, this is financial year 2021, and this is how the projected figure looks for this particular year. where I have my targeted sales of April, May, June, so and so forth as 1.52, 2.53, and so my estimated expense to be like this, where I have a deficit and a profit. Something like this, if my previous plan looks like, then you need to see this and understand, okay, there can be situations like this wherein I need to adjust accordingly for this particular financial year, which is 21-22. Now for 21-22, you can see that there is a different game plan altogether for the targeted sales, which you are making up in the month of July and August. And then subsequently, because you might have lost your April, May, June, so that's why you want to move to July and August, that is Q2 and Q3 subsequently. Spread your, acquisitions of customers or progressive sales into these 2 quarters, because this is where you can maximize your gains. So which also brings us to the next important point, that how do I do that? I'll explain that later. Is everybody good till now? Please go to the comment box and give me a thumbs up. Fantastic. Mr. Arif, no problem. If you have a net problem, you can always watch this video back. I will share the link. You can watch it. Thank you so much. Let me come back on this. So the first move is to plan. What do you need to plan? You need to replan your business plan itself. Spread your butter and jam to Q2 and Q3. Move to keep customers as focus. What do I mean by this? I mean, first and foremost, please check your cash flows. Is cash coming in? If your cash is coming in, then half of your problems are solved. If it is not coming, then you are spending from your credit line. Please understand this. So, first, make a complete list about how much customers owe you and make gentle arrangements to collect, because you need to understand that your customers could also be facing a similar problem of cash flows. They could be in turn dependent on somebody else. They could be another business house. So they might also be feeling a severe cash crunch. So you can use any of this in terms of email, WhatsApp, SMS, but please add a tagline called gentle reminder. Keep sending messages, there is no problem, but restrict your calls. Calls probably once in a week or once in 10 days. That means 3 or 4 calls in a month for collections. And please understand, the moment you pick up the call or the moment your customer picks up the call, let it not be a conversation on when are you going to pay me. So make the conversation fruitful. First understand what is their situation, their point of view. Take a commitment in terms of when is it they can pay. So what happens is you will get some sort of a timeline. They will also promise some kind of a timeline. So they say that in next 2 weeks, in next 15 days. You know for sure that next 15 days it might not happen. But when you're calling, it may get postponed by another week or another 10 days. Then again, no problem. But then eventually, in the next 15 days, it's going to happen. So you have to make provisions for this. Collections is very, very important. While collections is also very important, you also need to segregate your loyal and high spending customers. You need to understand their needs and buying pattern and craft an offer which they cannot resist. This again depends on your purchase capacity. If you are able to purchase at a lower price against all odds, or if you have stocked material which you can think you can utilize for this moment, then do so. So thereby subsequently offer something as a bundle price to your customer which they cannot resist. They are bound to take it. When I say this, let there be a caution. You don't get into losses. So you don't get into losses and subsequently see to it that you maximize on your profit. Let's move further and understand this. I was referring that previously when I was addressing the Q2, Q3 with respect to planning, I said that growth cannot be unilateral. Growth is a sustained process. You cannot become a 100 crore company in the next 10 years just like that, jumping 10 crores every year. Which means you need to take a certain amount of break in between to consolidate your stance. It is like climbing steps. So at every step, you need to take a small break. That break could be for internal analysis. That break could be for restructuring the team. That break could be for replanning yourself. That break could be to bring in more focus and clarity. So for all of this, it is needed. So growth happens in a sustained format, which means you grow, you sustain. You again grow, then you sustain. Grow and sustain. In this model, the beauty is no matter what the situation is at any given point of time, you will not fall back to zero, even if you slip somewhere. The worst case scenario, even if you slip, would be to the previous, pedal and not beyond that previous rung of the stair. So that is why it is important for you to understand this. So planning becomes prima facie important. Second, keeping your customer collections important. So if I have to summarize what is the next is action. What is action? You need to implement your strategies when the lockdown opens. Please understand, without action, planning goes nowhere. So one is replan your goal, replan your business plan. When you are replanning your business plan and goal, ensure that you have newer strategies in place. If something has worked for you in the last lockdown and you have seen a better growth or a better result of a new strategy that has been introduced, then rework on them and see how best it fits into the window now. Now, understanding customer needs, understanding customer problems, or when you reach out as after service, doesn't mean that it should be post sale only. When service becomes post sale, it is mostly to address problems. So when I say proactive, you need to understand the customer and try to understand their buying pattern. Try and understand with whom else are they going, where is their loyalty. You need to buy their loyalty. That's the biggest game plan. because once you have bought their loyalty, they will never go out anywhere else, no matter what. Doesn't matter whatever price you say, they will not even bargain. So that's why it is very important to grow your customer to that an extent in terms of loyalty. So thereby they keep coming back again and again and again. So always remember this, any action when followed with respect to implementation, it gives you a lot of confidence. And obviously having better cash flows will give you plenty of confidence. Planning is worthless without implementation. No need to say that. Knowing doesn't necessarily lead to doing, which means I know all the tricks of the trade, but am I doing it? Am I putting it into practice? Most important, connect all your action to ownership. If ownership is not there, then no action is going to proceed. So if you are thinking of giving some sort of a training direction to your team members and all of them, you need to ensure that they are empowered post training. If they are not empowered to take decision, what's the point of training? You are training a certain set of managers so that you are enabling their hands to take decisions. Decisions could be right or wrong. Only time will tell. But when it proves right, appreciate them. When it proves wrong, still take the ownership of it and say that, okay, that's absolutely fine. You have made a mistake, but let it not repeat. That is something which is very important for you to speak out to your team. Now, moving ahead, these are the three top concerns which, in fact, people voted. In the last questionnaire which I shared, these got the highest rating. How do I kickstart sales and marketing, which got stopped during lockdown? Will my business plan still hold good for the financial year 21-22? I just answered this second question. Third, also managing cash flow. How do I manage collections? If you are not focusing on collections, that's one of the major problems for cash crunch. So please have a plan to collect your outstanding. When I say this, if your outstanding is more than 3 years old, you better write it off. Because post-COVID situation, most of the business might have got folded. Most of the business may not be in a position to pay their outstanding, and all of this. People become untraceable. So it is best to take a conscious decision, conscious call, and write it off. So thereby you are sure that at least what is due will come. Simply keeping a amount which is not going to come, showing in your books as collectibles, is not going to help you anyway, because it will drain off your energy. Let us say if your total outstanding is 3 lakh rupees, out of which 50% is bad debts or write-offs. Better write off and say that, okay, I'll collect 1.5, which will bring more clarity to your collections than trying to chase 3 lakhs, which anyway 50% is non-existent. That means it doesn't come. So clear till this point in time? Please go to the chat box and say that if you are clear, so that I can move. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. Let me move on to something which is now more important. That is, I'm trying to answer the First question here, how do I kickstart sales and marketing? Before I answer this in the next slide, I will answer that though, but yeah, I'll post a poll later on. First and foremost, you need to understand the difference between sales and marketing. Now, marketing is the big brother of sales, and it is not vice versa. So marketing is the first activity which starts with you trying to make somebody understand a concept or showcasing a proof of concept, or we call it as POC, explaining a thing or a service, its advantages, etc. Over a competitive product also is absolutely fine. It is also taken as marketing. Sales, on the other hand, happens when marketing delivers and make people understand the product or service, then they buy it. Whether they buy a service or buy a product, it is still the same. Which means sale concludes with a billing to the customer. But please note, sale doesn't end here. When I say concludes to billing is you have acquired the customer, but have you acquired the money? That is most important. So when you get the money from the customer, then your sale is complete. So sale per se concludes with a billing, but then money will tell you whether you have acquired the customer or not, that sale is genuine. Same thing happens with respect to service. So if you are looking at maintaining a particular product profile, etc., I would suggest do it on a proactive basis. You straight away upfront say that this particular service needs an AMC or something like that, to that extent, where you bundle the package. Instead of saying that, sir, AMC for next 12 months will cost you so much, and every year it is going to cost so much and all, I suggest you build an AMC which is for 5 years and say that, sir, I'm just taking an example here. Every year, if your AMC is going to cost you 12,000 rupees, into 5 years is 60,000 rupees. You say that if you pay upfront for 5 years, we will give it to you at 50,000 rupees. So the customer is compelled to, think, okay, I'm going to save 10,000. So let me subscribe for 5 years. Or you could say that it will be 45,000 rupees for 5 years. If you buy it for 3 years, it will be 40,000 rupees. Or something like that, which you can bundle. So thereby two things will happen. One, customer will be there for next with you for at least 3 years or 5 years. And you have a service commitment. And most importantly, your cash has come into your kitty. So that is very important for you to remember. So build something like this, which is, out of the box, where you can offer it as a bundle to customer, and the customer, which makes customer think that he is going to save significantly. Thereby, you are buying the loyalty of the customer for a certain period of time. Now, in fact, I would want to say more of this, but what I would love to do is, I would like to run on a poll here. Could you just answer this poll? Because there are a lot of people who keep calling me or telling me at some point in time, they need to know and understand the difference between sales and marketing, because though they know that marketing is something which is bigger, many a times it so happens that they won't invest time in marketing, because marketing is investment of your time, thereby investment of your money. So if you want a certain amount of sales, you need to be able to spend so much To get so much of sales, you need to invest so much of money in marketing. Don't think that is going to be very expensive. So all of this I can demystify to you, provided if you feel that you have a real need for it. So thank you for answering this. I can exactly show you how on the online world, how much of investment will result in how much of sales. What is the acquisition cost per customer spent in terms of marketing versus the acquisition cost? All of this will be very interesting, but it needs to be implemented, not from the point of view of understanding a concept. So thereby, if you feel, yeah, thanks for the poll. I will craft something on this regard and then come back to you. Let me continue further. So if you are looking at kickstarting the sales, answering the question, the focus should be on marketing. Don't focus on sales, because anyway, sales guys will not be able to market. Marketing is an art. Okay, it can be learned as a skill also, but there should be enough training that should be provided. So marketing should drive the sales, which brings to the point that how are you redefining the marketing strategies? You want more sales, but then you are not spending enough on marketing. How will you achieve more sales? It's not possible. So unless you think out of the box, it's not possible to achieve this. So if you have already spent some X amount in marketing, then you need to understand what results it has brought to you in terms of sales conversions. So which gives you spend to acquisition ratio. So that's why it is very important for you to understand the sales and the marketing part of business. No business can have just sales. Please understand, no matter what it is. Even if you are selling lemonade, it needs to have a marketing. So you have a small, cute boy or a girl standing less than age of 10 years, and you are saying that you make them sell lemonade in a summer, your lemonade will sell. They themselves are the marketing tool. So it's important for you to understand this aspect. So sales just doesn't happen out of blue. It happens because of your marketing efforts. So this is how I have addressed. Let me just recap. I have addressed your top 3 concerns here. And subsequently, I have also said that these are the smart moves which you need to do. The first is to replan your goal. The second is to address your customer needs proactively and make sure that you get your money also, which is stuck with your customers. Cash flows are very important. Focus on your cash flows. And third, you ensure that you implement action steps, which are more important, which will produce results for you. So just by doing these smart moves, you can spring back to action in Q2 itself. So please understand this. And let me come to the last part of our session. If you have any question, now is the time where you can ask me these questions. The chat box is open. If you have specific questions, please do ask. If you have questions pertaining to today's session, you can ask. If everything is good, then say good. Type in the comment box, all good. That doesn't mean that you are just listening from me today, but it tells me that you are ready to take action. Are you willing to take action? Say yes in the comment box. Fantastic. I would like to see more and more S's. This session will be there for you for a replay. I will share the link to you later on. Many a times we tend to be running behind numbers, that is sales. But the problem is we forget the collections are equally important. And more time you give towards your collection in terms of more time that you leave without collecting, the more interest it will draw. It will also bring down the enthusiasm from the person who is willing to pay. He would have kept certain amount of ready because he is also knowing that you need to be paid. But because of your non-effort of not reaching him to him on time, he will also forget to pay. But there are genuine reasons. Certain times you understand that the customer is in a problem, then of course you can extend timelines. It's not a problem. Yes, Arvind is asking a question here. Is it a good way to spend money now as there is no good inflow of money? Now, Arvind, what is the spend? You need to define why you are spending. If your spending is to acquire more, then the spending will get justified. But if your spending is for the sake of spending without any results, then it becomes an expense. So the most important thing is if you have to spend, every single rupee has to be accounted for. That is why your cost to acquisition ratio will tell you something very important. So for every 5 rupees I spent, how much customers did I acquire? Or acquiring one customer, I had to spend 25 rupees. So this is something very important for you to understand. And please understand, there is a saying in Hindi, in Gujarati, in fact, that particularly says, if you have to get 8, you should be ready to spend 2. Otherwise, 8 will not come. So it's a very beautiful saying. So this 2 is nothing but your marketing cost. 8 will come, but that's your belief system which will make this 2 perform. Customers haven't cut down on buying. Have you, just because of the lockdown, have you stopped eating? No, right? Between 6 and 10 in the morning, please go out and see. Everybody is there on the roads. Everybody is there on the street. That means they are all buying. Need not essentially only essential services. If it were confined to be essential services, then no bakery should have been open. But I can see that bakeries are also open. So there are a lot of people who are buying bakery items. There are a lot of people who are getting their, other items also. So, which means that there is nothing called as customer is hesitant to buy. It is only a choice. Are you offering him the right way to buy the right thing? See, all markets, all buying patterns can be created with the help of marketing. So, marketing is something which is important to look in, and subsequently, it doesn't cost you a bomb to spend marketing, to spend on marketing. Please understand. But it has to be a sustained effort. If you are spending, let us, I'm just giving you a ballpark figure. If you are spending 2000 rupees on marketing, spend that 2000 rupees every month. Just don't spend it once and think that it will work like magic. No, it won't. It is like SIP. If you know in finance what is SIP, which stands for systematic investment plan, it is absolutely like that. So marketing has to be something like SIP. That is when it works wonderfully over a period of time. It is not instantaneous. I hope this was good. You gained some insights and information, and I'll come back to you with much more information during this period. Most importantly, just not to teach you, tell you, but then take action on this, implement. That is very, very important. Thanks for all your comments and messages. And before you go, I want you to please comment and feedback. Please get on with Google Business, search for Titan Club and write a review on today's session. And also please go to Trustpilot. You search my name there, and then you could also post the same review what you have written on Google Business. So please do that. That is the fees that you are going to pay for me for today's session. I hope I am not asking too much. Please comment saying that you will do it. Yes, Padmanabhan, I understand. It is equally reciprocating. You are here. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. But at the same time, please do leave a review so that it will help me to better this. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you soon. Once again, very soon with a new topic, with a new. If you have something very interesting, if you feel that okay, I want to listen to this and things like that, the system will take you to the next set of things, which is called as a one-on-one discussion. You can get into a one-on-one discussion with me. You will be presented with a scheduler. You can choose your day and time accordingly on the scheduler and get in a 30 minutes time with me for chatting with me on a one-on-one basis. Get your queries answered. If your queries are significant importance, which will benefit everyone, then I will create a topic like this and then present it to everyone. All right. Thank you. Fantastic. Thanks for staying with me. Have a wonderful time. And most importantly, be safe and stay safe. Thank you.